Having a clear onboarding process can be a huge difference on landing your dream clients compared to ending up with a horrible clients. And I'm talking to the clients that takes like weeks to reply, or the ones that wants like many changes, or even can disappear when it's time to make a payment. So watch this video for my 9 steps on onboarding process and how to get and onboard your ideal clients. Let's dive in. Hi, it's Kat here. So if you're new to this channel is for experienced tax preparers who want to improve their tax skills, or for new tax preparers who wants to learn the tax laws, how to prepare tax return, tax softwares and stuff like that. So I'm gonna bring you the latest tax laws, all the updates related to the tax industry, tax softwares, and also automations and stuff like that. So anything related to the tax preparation world. Please subscribe to my channel to get more videos next week. I'm really excited about this video because it seems like just something that everybody's talking about. Actually, I have a student. His name is Adam, and I think he enrolled in Drake tax software preparation course. And he asked me, he's like, what is that process to onboard the client efficiently? So this video is for Adam and for everybody else who is interested. So it might seem intimidating when you ask the client to pay you, right? And you do all this like onboarding stuff, because it seems like you need the client. But if you look at this on a different angle, it's more like a client needs you. The client needs you to do the work, right? So the way I think about onboarding, it's not only about like figuring out like if clients will choose you or not, but it's more about getting to know the client and see if you would like to work with him. And if you do that, you will end up with the dream clients, not those horrible clients. So let's start with 9 steps that I do for onboarding process. And I love my clients. They're amazing. And I usually don't take any more clients because I'm happy with the ones I have. And I also like teach online. I have tax preparation courses. But when I do, I follow those steps. So let's dive in to the first step. So the first step is a discovery call. This is so when you first time talk to the client and you want to listen as much as possible. You want to get to know as much information about them, about their business. So idea of discovery call is to get to know them, to understand if you like them, if they aligned with your values, and if you would like to work with them. But also you would want to lead the conversation. So you don't want to be too arrogant, let them speak, but make sure you ask the right questions. As a suggestion, it's a good idea to record discovery calls. Of course, you have to ask the client before you do that. So you can tell them something like, hey, I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. Is that okay if I record this call? And usually it's a good idea when you do the next steps that I'm going to talk to you in a second. This recording would be very useful. So the second step after the discovery call would be to write a proposal. So you send the client the very detailed, very personalized email. So what I would do, I would go back to discovery call and I would just watch it again, and I would make sure when I write the email, I would write it as personalized as it could be. So I would add the details that the client mentioned on the call. For example, if they tell you like, hey, this is how I started this business, or like their goals or whatever it is, I would include it and make sure it's personalized as possible. Also, you can include examples of similar work you've done for other clients to show your expertise, right? So that's number 2. You want to write an email and it will be as personalized and it possibly can get. It get all the information the client wants. So that would be step number 2. So step number 3 would be proposal. So that's where you send the information about like the pricing and timelines, the product. It's basically after the client agreed to work with you, but you want to make sure you get it all in. They're okay with your pricing and your timeline, right? So the idea of this step is to make sure there is no questions left. So you make sure to tell the client when you expect documents, when they would expect deliverables, and how the process works. So this is like proposal. So what happens if the client is not okay with your price? What if it's too much for him? So basically, ideally, it basically shows that the client cannot afford you. So maybe you're not a right specialist for them. But what if you still really like them and want to work with them? I would recommend you potentially maybe lowering the price, but only if you change this scope of work. So for example, if you promise them 1 week of turnaround time, now you can tell them like 2-3 weeks or something like that. For tax planning, if you process them like full tax planning for a lower price, you can do like a smaller project for them. And then eventually it can lead to the bigger projects. They can probably will, they will ask you to help with their, if you do business tax return, you will also do individual tax return and maybe tax planning and stuff like that. So that's just something for you to decide, but there is a ways around. Okay, so if they're done with this proposal, they're okay with that, the next step, legally, we should do engagement letter. So we send engagement letter to the client to sign. So you can find any of them online, and they're very like basic. You pretty much tells them the terms of agreement, NDA, the price, things like that. If you can find one online, please email me. I'll email you the one I use, and all of them, the ones I've seen different CPAs are using, they're pretty general. So it's pretty much you protect yourself, make sure you get paid, and the client protects themselves, make sure that their information is not going to get disclosed. So engagement letter. After engagement letter is done would be a next step. So the next step would be to get information from the client. So it has to be prior year tax returns and current year tax information. Sometimes people signed POA, which is power of attorney, because you might request IRS transcripts and things like that. So maybe you'll do that, but it's up to you. So we prepare tax returns. So the next step would be tax preparation. We do tax return. We send it to the client for review. He agrees with the tax return. If not, you have a call, you make the changes. After tax return is ready to go, you have to get e-file authorizations signed by the client, so you can e-file tax returns. So you can use DocuSign or any like electronic signature thing. They can, print it out and sign it and just scan it back to you. So whatever they like. I use DocuSign or HelloSign or stuff like that. After we're done with the signatures, we can finally send an invoice. So that's what I do. I send invoice before I e-file tax returns, although sometimes I e-file them if it's too close to the deadlines. In my whole career, I never had anybody not paying the CPA. I think it's just because we have this whole sensitive information of theirs, so it kind of doesn't make sense. But in any case, so you do billing after you get signature and before you e-file. So I send invoice. I usually do it at the same time. I say e-signature, e-file authorization for signatures, and I send invoice at the same time. After I get both back, I e-file tax return, wait 24 hours until it's accepted, and then send a final tax return to the client and confirmation that it was e-filed, so e-file confirmation. And that's it. That's my last step. Sometimes I ask the client for a feedback after tax season just to see if they like the process, what would they want more or less or whatever they like. I also record videos for the client, overview of their tax returns instead of having calls, but that's just something I do because I really enjoy being on videos, and that's how it's easier for me to communicate, and I think it saves time for everybody. So this is it. I wish you good luck landing your dream clients, and let me know how your onboarding process works, or maybe there's any steps you think I should add to mine. I would really appreciate it. On a side note, I also I sell tax preparation courses. I'm actually considering starting a course about teaching people how to do taxes from zero or open their online tax practices. So if you're interested in that, please send me an email and I'll send you more information. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Talk to you in a week in my next video. Bye-bye.